McLaren is back to the World Endurance Championship 25 years after winning Le Mans, and with a new driver from Brazil, Nicolas Costa. Is he up to the challenge? Let's find out this weekend in Qatar.
My name is Nicolas Costa from Brazil, and I race for McLaren. In motorsports, most of the times, there's one winner and 30 losers. When you're racing, there's a few things that go through your mind. It's a mixture of a deep concentration state, pleasure, and adrenaline that goes through that I can't find it nowhere else.
Qatar is the venue for the opening race of the FIA World Endurance Championship for 2024.
In an endurance race, you don't race by yourself. You have two other drivers. And if you don't get along well with these drivers, the thing doesn't work. I'm a very competitive person. Racing represents everything that I love, something I watch many drivers do on a high level throughout the years. I'm very proud to be Brazilian and to represent it in a World Championship. This is my life. If I'm not racing, I'm not happy. So it represents everything that I love. So to be part of the McLaren racing team on their return to the World Championship after 26 years, it's a responsibility you have to be able to carry on your back when you're racing. To be the chosen one of the chosen ones to do the job, to me it's a great thing. To be one of the drivers chosen to represent it, it's a big honor as well. I want to perform. I want to bring Brazil back to the podium on the World Championship, and I want to take home also wins.
The closest thing to motorsport I had growing up was when my parents rushed me to the hospital the day I was born. My family can't race. That only changed the day I first tried go-karts. That's when I knew what I wanted for my life.
Representing Brazil in a World Championship, to me, it's very important. I'm above all a person that loves my country. I'm very proud to be Brazilian, and to represent it in a World Championship is first of all a dream come true. So to me, it's been very special to be the driver to do that.
As a driver in their position, competing in this, 7 rounds of the championship, of course including the 24 hours of Le Mans, so a lot of variety in race venues, in temperatures, in conditions, and in race duration. And there's, at the moment, no clue who's going to come out on top in either of our two categories.
Thursday was very positive. It was the first time that I went on track on an official World Endurance Championship practice session with all the cars. And to my surprise, we ended the session P1, so fastest of all. And definitely that's something that I wasn't expecting from the word go. So it was very positive.
We have 37 cars on this grid. Across those teams, there is one team, a 2-car team, has no change in their car and no change in their driver lineup. Apart from that, it is change literally everywhere.
Good morning. In the pit line, this is race control. 1 minute to open pit line for free practice 3. I hope you can all read us loud and clear. Track is clean, track is dry. We removed all the gravel. Let's hope we can do a clean session without so many track limits as we had yesterday.
And that's what balance of performance does. Everybody badmouths balance of performance. Without balance of performance, you get Formula One. And for all its good and its bad, the only balance is effectively how much money you're allowed to spend based on your previous results. But you do often get, and we've seen it for so many years, one car that hits the sweet spot and it then dominates. And the whole point of balance of performance is, one, to stop the financial arms war, predominantly to make GT3 effective, to make hypercar effective and efficient and affordable. And secondly, to make the racing close. And there's one thing we learned from last year: the racing is close.
Pit exit is open. Free practice 3 has started.
Well, having practice and qualify on the same day is definitely something that makes it more difficult. Because unlike some other championships, we don't have that much time to develop the car and to create, let's say, a good baseline for the race. So you have to decide: either you're gonna have a car very good for qualify, or you're gonna try and prepare the car for the race. So you gotta pick a side and have a good strategy to define either if you're gonna try to go to the front on quali and hold your position on the race, or the opposite. Adapting from the Porsche Carrera Cup car to the Mclaren 720S GT3 Evo was actually a lot more challenging than I thought, because in my idea, 2 GT cars would work in a very similar way, but that completely wasn't the case. The driving style of both cars are the opposite, basically. The technique I was used to in the Porsche Carrera Cup car didn't work at all in the McLaren, and I had to readapt to a new driving style that suited that car. And I think I'm managing to do that well, but obviously there's always room for improvement.
United Autosport's big part of the F1 World Endurance Championship in recent years. They're here with the McLaren 720S Evos. Fabulous looking beasts.
The LN GT3 rule set is very slightly tweaked from the normal FIA GT3 because these cars have to survive Le Mans. Not a 1 hour sprint, not a 2 hour or 4 hour endurance race. These cars have to survive Le Mans. And so there are certain details about the aero packages and the way the engines, the transmissions, the gearbox and so on are worked that are allowed to be modified for that specific set of demands that Le Mans race. The 2 United Autosports McLarens, now they are a combination of McLaren's papaya orange and the black on the 1995 Le Mans winning Ueno Clinic McLaren F1 GTR.
Meu nome é Maurício Sala, eu participei do campeonato de Endurance com a McLaren em 95 e 96. Bom, para mim, eu fiquei um pouco chateado na época, porque até então não ia participar nenhum carro oficial da McLaren nas 24 horas de Le Mans. Um dos carros patrocinados indiretamente pela McLaren era o meu, e o outro da Harrods, que era da cor do capacete do Ayrton, amarelo e verde. E na véspera da corrida apareceu um carro patrocinado pela Ueno Clinic, número 59, que era justamente uma McLaren que foi oficialmente da fábrica. E foi o carro que ganhou as 24 horas de Le Mans, e ficou aquele número 59, que é o número que o Nicolas usa até hoje. Bom, eu estava morando no Japão, correndo de Endurance, categoria Grupo C na época, corri de todos os carros, Porsche, Mazda, Nissan. Daí acabou essa categoria. E daí começaram a categoria de Endurance com super carros esportivos de rua, adaptados para corrida. Daí eu participei do primeiro ano com a McLaren F1. Bom, a F1 era um carro único, porque eram 3 bancos, Você sentava no meio, então era um carro esportivo e você sentava com, né, que nem monoposto. Você tinha a mesma distância de um lado para o outro, tá? Existe um oba-oba que quem guia carro turismo não consegue guiar Fórmula justamente por causa da posição de guiar. Mas o McLaren era o contrário, era um carro Fórmula, praticamente para andar na rua, que você sentava no meio. E era muito gostoso de andar, era motor V12 da BM, com um câmbio de 6 marchas, H, não era câmbio eletrônico e nada disso. E também não tinha controle de estabilidade, controle de tração, nada. Era bem raiz na época. E era um dos primeiros carros com chassis de fibra de carbono, monocoque de fibra de carbono, e era um carro unique que até hoje é um sonho de consumo de muita gente.
Start of another new era of qualifying in the World Endurance Championship. After its success as a format at Le Mans, Hyperpole arrives for the full season for the first time. The last couple of years we've seen Hyperpole at Le Mans going, this is so good, so challenging for the drivers, a good entertainment. There's absolutely no chance of having any clue who's going to be on pole in either class, probably for the entire season. 3 minutes away from the start of the first qualifying session of a new year, and this might be the first indication that we get of who has what in terms of pace here in the Saab International Circuit in Qatar, rather than for the entire season.
James Cottingham is the man that got involved in that title battle with Darren Leon last year in the British GT Championship. Returns again in another new car, third different car in the last 3 seasons.
1 minute to start LMGT3 qualifying session.
James Cottingham, runner-up in the British GT Championship, stretching his legs on the international circuit the first time in a United Autosports run McLaren.
And they are 3-4 at the moment, 5 minutes to go.
In an endurance race, you don't race by yourself. You have 2 other drivers with you in the car. The drivers I'm racing together with this year in the car is James Cottingham from England and Gregor Salsi from Switzerland. And if you don't get along well with your teammates, there is no way you can be successful in endurance racing. Luckily for me, we got along really well. James and Gregor are 2 great guys, 2 great drivers, and I think we have a great team this year. So to be part of the McLaren racing team on their return to the World Championship after 26 years, it's first of all a big responsibility. It's a responsibility you have to be able to carry on your back when you're racing, such as the McLaren name and the number 59 stamped on that car. It's a very important number for the company, and to be one of the drivers chosen to represent it, it's a big honor as well. And I feel very motivated to race at Le Mans and maybe bring another win to the team and to that special number. I first met Prio, my main sponsor, my current sponsor, as a big supporter of mine in 2016. The company was very new back then. We had a brief conversation about what could we do in the future. At that time, things didn't escalate, but in 2021, we managed to do a deal, and I started racing with their name, which to me, it's a great thing because they're a big company in my town, Rio de Janeiro, which I love to represent. So I feel like I'm representing not only the company, but also the town. Now it's the 4th year of our partnership. Since then, Prio has grown exponentially in the market. Now we are the biggest oil and gas company, the biggest independent oil and gas company in Brazil, which is a great thing by a huge margin. And to be representing them again, it's great. It's an honor, and I love the team. I have great friends there, and I pretend to be there for a long time.
Bom, esse campeonato sempre foi muito competitivo. É de gente grande, não é mais monoposto Fórmula Cup. Tem 24 horas de Le Mans no meio, tem corrida longa no meio. Será que ele está pronto para o WEC?
When you're racing, there's a few things that go through your mind. It's a mixture of a deep concentration state, pleasure, and adrenaline that goes through that I can't find it nowhere else.
And the opening round of the FIA World Endurance Championship for 2024. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome everybody to the Sail International Circuit here in Qatar.
This is a brand new era for McLaren. First time in the FIA World Endurance Championship.
I think there's three main secrets for being successful in an endurance race. It's being constantly fast, without risking too much, but not too little as well. And especially managing traffic well. We are 37 cars on track, and we are always passing each other. So you have to do that, losing as little time as you can. The race start is always the most tense part of the race. Obviously, you don't win the race in the first corner, but you can definitely lose the race on the first corner. Having said that, it's impossible to tell a racing driver to be careful. They're always gonna try to overtake the car in front if there's some car in front. I just look forward and try to find a gap to go forward.
1 minute to go, and then the cars will be waved away from the grid. 2 formation laps. The safety car will peel off, and it will then be ready to go for 335 laps. Ready to start the 18-12 kilometre race in Qatar.
What I really want to see is who hit Alex Lynn up the back into turn 1. Because that triggered that whole sequence. Oh, that was a late dive, wasn't it? And there's the contact.
Managed to get out the gravel. Somebody already is in the pit lane. A McLaren in the pits.
And it's Nicolas Costa, the 59 McLaren.
The crash was very frustrating because there was absolutely nothing I could have done. I went over and over and over with it on my head, and I was a complete passenger. So the 2 cars behind us were fighting, and one was trying to close the door on the other, and it was constantly looking at the mirrors. But by the time that they looked forward, the braking zone was already gone, and there was only my car to stop them. Racing is my life. Racing represents everything that I love. I'm a very competitive person. I love motor racing, I love cars. Actually, to say that I love cars, I think is an understatement, because this is my life. If I'm not racing, I'm not happy. If I'm not winning, I'm not happy. And I made this sport my life. So it represents everything that I love.
That number 59's been in the garage because it got spun around in turn 4.
They changed the suspension.
The McLaren GT3 Evo.
Yeah, that is Nicolas Costa
Getting settled into the McLaren GT3.
59 is delayed, still running, but last. And it was James Cottingham in the 59 United Autosports car that were in contact. That is under investigation by the stewards.
Greg Marcelsi aboard the 59 McLaren now. That 59 car is still last, but actually now they're finally catching pole position.
In the end, 9 hours, 56 minutes of racing, and what a season opener it was.
If I were to wrap up the first race in a nutshell, I'd say we had a great speed, we had a very good car, but we weren't so lucky. And sometimes you gotta accept that luck isn't on your side, and you gotta focus on the things that you can control. And the things that we could control as a team, we did a very good job. We had a good pace, we had a good race, and we can look forward for the next one at Imola. Our next race is in a sacred place for us Brazilians, which is at Imola. the place where we lost our biggest idol, Ayrton Senna, 30 years ago, or nearly 30 years ago. So it's gonna be really special to race there in a McLaren, representing Brazil, so close to the 30th anniversary of his passing. So it's gonna be a pretty emotional weekend for sure. I'm really looking forward to perform. I want to bring Brazil back to the podium on the World Championship, and I want to take home also wins.
By being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. And by being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver, because we are competing to win.